Well, we've had an economics program at Bridgewater State University, and we've had a major since the early 1990s. And that major has grown, especially in the last few years, to the point where we now have about 80 majors. And there's just a large amount of interest with what's been going on with the economy, and people needing to understand that and wanting to find out more about it, and seeing the connections between economics and a lot of other things that are going on. Our financial literacy program at Bridgewater is actually the first at any of the Massachusetts state universities to be offered for university students. And it started a few years ago when President De Molifaria had contacted me to talk about outreach to the community and how I could extend that to working with Bridgewater students from all majors so that they would have an understanding of economic concepts and also making wise financial decisions. So out of those discussions, our financial literacy and giving program grew. It started in spring 2010. And it's a 9-week certificate program. We were very fortunate to get the donation from the Bridgewater Credit Union in the amount of $10,000, and the Bridgewater Foundation also provided funds in the amount of $5,000. So with that money to fund our whole program for this year, it pays for the running of the program, but it also provides funding for student projects. So we're very excited about that, because one thing that's very different about financial literacy program at Bridgewater is the giving part. FLAG, the giving is that there needs to be an awareness that's built into the program of financial literacy. It's not just what can I do with my money and live my life the best way, but it's also thinking about what I do affects the community, the decisions I make, and where I spend my money, and the type of business that I start. And even family decision makings. It's not just what I'm going to do, but what I do affects others. So it's built in from the start. So with the funding from the Bridgewater Credit Union, we're able to start funding Bridgewater FLAG graduates who want to continue on and do some projects to help the community. The Bridgewater Credit Union funding started in January, and so the students, this last group of students, which was about 30 students who completed the program, went through and did the 9 sessions. They learned about taking out loans and credit scoring and importance of saving and what it means to be a borrower and what the calculation of interest means, and also about starting your own business and being a social entrepreneur. And so there were a lot of, and there are additional things we cover as well, but they've just completed that program. And at the end of the program, the students that came through were asked to develop projects to move forward, to bring those ideas to the community. So really at the very beginning of bringing the FLAG concepts to the Bridgewater community, we have 3 teams that have come out of the spring with strong projects that they want to move forward. And one of them is called, and these are all the students' ideas, that they came, they met in the sessions. It's just a wonderful open sharing time during these financial literacy seminars. One team has developed a project called Bearing Art. And these are students who would like to start a student art gallery on campus with the idea of raising money. And it would be a small entry fee, but it would feature art of Bridgewater State University students. They would charge a very small admission, and that money would then be used to help support the arts in the K-12 schools and perhaps other charities beyond. So this is, again, at the planning stages. The student leaders are working to develop connections and find space on campus, and that project planning is going on over the summer. The 2 other projects are Cans for Change, and we have a group that's working on introducing special recycling bins to the dorms, where then the groups of the residents, people who live in the dorms, and also some student clubs that are involved in community service would volunteer to collect from these special bins, where the deposits from those cans and bottles would then be donated to charities, and those charities would then be able to benefit from the work of the students. And it's also a project that they feel can be sustained and carried on. So sustainability and community service are really part of this. So we want something that will continue. So those bins that are created will do that. And some of the money goes to pay for the materials to do these, to set up the art gallery, to set up the bins. So it's a modest amount to start, but the teams are able to do that. And the 3rd group is actually what you were saying, is in terms of the financial literacy in the schools. They want to bring FLAG to the high schools. So this team is actually working on ways that they can bring it to the high school, to use connections, to go in and maybe have an assembly on financial literacy and perhaps put on a skit or present some materials and just get the students thinking about it.